All right, good afternoon. It's Kinninigan. Please share, like, subscribe. Someone left a comment on my channel about the quote unquote reptilian hunting manual. I was very aware of this manual for many years. I usually don't promote other reptilian researchers, but in the case of this one, I'm going to give you a link. Now, if you don't like the link, I leave because I found it on Yandex, which is a Russian search engine. Oh well. Yandex has become my default search engine because they're not under Zionist influence, mainly because of the fact that Russia is the largest white Christian country on planet Earth right now, and Zionists don't like that one. Um, yeah, so I was aware of this. Now, this it's not a manual. None of the information in here about reptilians is actually legit, except this pic of Garuda that he puts in here, because Garuda, I've made a video about that. I'll have to maybe re-upload it to my channel. Garuda, actually in the Hindu pantheon, is the reptilian in the Hindu pantheon, and I made a video about that. The Naga are not what you think. You think when you hear Hindu, Naga are the reptilians? No. Naga in the Hindu pantheon are actually mermaids. Yes, they have tails like fish. Um, I'll make another video about the Naga and Garuda. Maybe if I talked about Hinduism more often, I wouldn't be getting flagged on YouTube. But anyway, I was well aware of this. Now, they say Kinninigan is a chapter in this book, but they don't spell it the way I do. I was aware of this book years after I originally came up with my name, Kinninigan, which is spelled differently. Where did I find my name? It came off a forum that I searched years ago. The first things I did when I started researching reptilians, I listened to all the stuff from Zachariah Stitchin. I listened to the stuff from David Icke, which didn't really say shit about reptilians. Then I found out about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and there was a word that reptilians could not say. And I thought to myself, because I worked in sales for many years, that um, the best way to grab people's attention, I used to joke with customers when I was a car salesman. They'd be like, "Hello, how you doing, sir? I'm Joe Smith," and I would tell people, "Yeah, I'm Patrick the Magnificent Hampton," because it's not illegal to say that. You could say you're the Magnificent and not get in trouble, but it stuck on people, and it made them smile. Like this, okay, I like this guy. He's got a sense of humor. Um, but I was adaptable depending on who I was selling cars to, and so nothing in this manual is correct about what I teach about Alpha Draconians. This actually sounds like a lot of the Zachariah Stitchin rhetoric, and a lot of he's got Mason. This guy probably is a Freemason because let's be honest. So I found this manual years later, and then when I found out that Kininigin was actually in here, although they don't spell it correctly, they spell Kininigin. Don't even explain why that is, but according to them, Kininigin, totally different pronunciation there, is a word rumored to have been used by the Vikings to differentiate humans and reptilians. The reptilians were unable to properly pronounce the word, given their abnormal physiology, and were subsequently executed on the spot. Now, that paragraph, if you want to call it that, it's like two sentences, is actually from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And they did not even reference it in the quote unquote reptilian hunting manual. So I look at this as plagiarism. Basically, you're taking the reptilian conspiracy, you're wiping your ass with it, but where did they know the name Kinninigan from? Because Kinninigan is not an easy word to find. How did I find it many years ago? Well, that's the great mystery. Maybe there was divine intervention going on. Maybe I got channeled the word Kinninigan from one of the Arcturians. I'm only joking with you. I don't go. Look, I break balls. Yeah, I love breaking balls. But I don't claim to have any extraterrestrial connection, any divine intervention. Maybe there is some. I don't know. God works in mysterious ways. I cannot honestly tell you where I found Kinninigan in the form that I use it from, other than I found it. I was doing deep diving on the internet. After I found the word, I was like, okay, that's my new name. I'm gonna roll with it because people will remember that name before they remember username Joe Blow 86594. Which, if you join up to any online forum, website, it's like you can't sign up to a website and be Joe Smith. It's not happening. That name's been taken already, right? So when I found this name, I figured, hey, if I'm going to promote reptilian research, I doubt that there's very many websites that are using the name Kinninigan, and there wasn't. I went to a PHP forum known as Disclose TV. They actually thought I was somebody else when I came there. They accused me of being another reptilian researcher known as Pins. No, and they were like, okay, this guy's pretty fucking serious about the shit he's posting here. Not only that, he's telling people that reptilians are not even fucking reptiles. They're avian parasitic birds. Like, what is going on here? And the rest is history. Look at this. Look, he started out good with using Garuda as a reference, which was good. Then he goes down to this obvious stupid ass reptile. First of all, bipedal creatures do not have tails. You lose your tail once you start walking on two legs, okay? This is basic, biology, okay? No, you cannot be walking on two legs and have a tail. It doesn't work that way. So, and then he's making references, obviously, to the movie They Live. I understand that one. And then just goes on these tandems about a lot of the shit that I noticed David Icke talks about. He'll say reptilian to get your attention, but then he starts going on all this other new age bullshit that has nothing to do with reptilians. And that's where the whole fucking thing falls apart for them. Now, this was published in 2008. Now, in 2008, I was still a debt collector, working for a very large financial institution doing debt collection for major banks. So, when I quit that job, is right after, I think I joined Disclose TV around 2010, around that time. The old guard, yeah. Rosalind Chapel. Now, yes, Rosalind Chapel does have a carving of a reptilian in it, but it's not an Alpha Draconian. It's a native Terran reptilian. Right? There's two different types of reptilians on Earth. And yeah, they got these screenshots of a forum. Around this time, forums were very big. And the reason I had to go to Disclose TV, because they were based out of Germany. I know the owner, Lucas. He let me on his website, obviously. And there were only a few conspiracy forums around at the time. One was Above Top Secret, who's run by a Freemason known as Skeptic Overlord. One of the mods there goes by the name Augustus Masonicus. And they will not let you post about reptilians. You have Godlike Productions, run by Trinity. That's supposedly a fat dude down in Florida. We know who he is. I honestly think that Trinity, that runs Godlike Productions, is also the X-22 report. I can't prove that, but I think it is. They won't let you post about reptilians. And then the other one was Lunatic Outpost, which maybe you can. Then I found Disclosed TV, where they let me post about reptilians, and that's why I started posting my research there. Because if you think that you're going to break the barrier when it comes to reptilians, let me ask you something. Nobody that researches Bigfoot, mermaids, the fucking Loch Ness Monster, Roswell, gray aliens has to put up with that kind of gatekeeping bullshit. But when I started looking into reptilians, I noticed something. Why is all the reptilian research being cockblocked or gatekept by Freemason? And then the rest is history. Go watch my rant earlier today if you want to know what I think about Freemason 15 years later. This is why I despise them. You could have just left me the fuck alone, let me do my reptilian research, and let me live in peace. But no, you got to keep putting your Masonic goat ass in my business all the time. So that's why I fight back. Um, Garuda, and the fact that you can't spell Kinninigan right, because that is not the correct way to spell it. Um, Whatever, so mote it be. That's what you say at the end of Black Magic. So anyway, yeah, here is a link to the Reptilian Hunting Manual. Now, if you come to my, I've known about this for years. I've known it's existed, but I showed you what it is. It's like a 10-page document, and believe me, my podcast and when I publish my book about reptilians, I'm going to teach David Icke what reptilians are because even his ass doesn't even know. Now, I recognize. Look, gotta have a sense of humor. I realize this was written by someone named Michael E. Cones or Chone, and when I heard Chone, the first thing that came to mind is blood in, blood out. When he takes you out and starts being nice, but all he really wants is your chon chon. I know that chon chon was Mexican slang for, you know, I don't know if it's booty hole or. Look, I grew up, I dated Puerto Ricans. I know Puerto Rican, and Puerto Rican is not the same as Mexican. Puerto Ricans don't say essay or taco. Yeah, ask a Puerto Rican to make you a taco. You're going to get hit with a frying pan. They don't make tacos. Okay? It's not even the same. And don't accuse a Puerto Rican of being Mexican. Not a good. Yeah, in Philly, we have Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. Yeah, and that's all. Whatever. But the idea is blood in, blood out. That was actually a good movie. There's that infamous scene where the white boy comes in prison and the guy's giving him joints. Popeye, it was his name, and he throws him in the jail cell and tries to rape him. He says, "Give me some chon chon." Yeah. So when I heard the Reptilian Hunter's Manual was written by Michael Chon Chon, is that his real name? Probably not. I don't know. And why did he have to make the grenade actually 33 hertz across with the eye of the Illuminati on it? Whatever. These people, what they do with the reptilian conspiracies, they mix so much stupid fucking shit together. This is what David Icke does full time. He'll pack a conference, full of 20,000 people who paid money to see him, under the guise of we're going to learn about reptilians, and he's over there talking about all kinds of new age bullshit that has nothing to do with alpha draconians. And what I noticed, like I said, that all the reptilian research was either being blackballed, which is a Masonic term, um, or they were being gatekept by Freemason. And I was like, well, why is that? Until you find out that black magic is rooted from Babylon. They are into serpent worship and they worship their reptilian avian overlords, whether they want to admit it or not. That's why they gatekeep it. So you think you're going to find the truth about reptilians from a Freemason? That would be like going to a member of La Cosa Nostra, the mafia, and asking who the current boss is. They're going to look at you like, the mafia doesn't exist. What are you talking about? You're crazy. Uh, Same thing. And I'll leave you a link. You want to donate to my channel? I'd appreciate it. I would like nothing more than to procure some marijuana today, so I can watch X Files or play some video games in peace. And I got my cat laying next to me, Dougal. He says hello, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. Now, I don't think I've ever made a video on the Reptilian hunting manual, which is interesting because I've actually known about this for a long time. So, hey, there's a first time for everything, right? And I'll give you a link. Yes, this link comes through Russian websites, but oh well. I'm done with fucking Google, DuckDuckGo, Bling. They've all been compromised by Zionists. So good luck. Oh, by the way, if you go to Yandex and you look up Pizzagate, you could still find shit about Pizzagate. In fact, I'm about to make Yandex my default search engine in my web browser. It was DuckDuckGo, but that's a joke anymore. DuckDuckGo. The only competition with Google right now is Yandex, and I'm actually looking into finding other Slavic run search engines because, quite honestly, and I had a sub email me, Kalina, she even said it. She said, Ken, you weren't joking. I went to Yandex and tried to look up conspiracies, and they're there. Now, I don't get paid by Yandex. I don't get paid by Russia. I'm not Russia Gate, whatever. Don't even try that shit here. No, it's just the truth, though. And yeah, Yandex, if you want a uncompromised search engine, use Yandex. Because apparently in evil Soviet Russia, censorship doesn't exist, although they claim that Putin is a communist fascist. Whatever. There's more fucking gatekeeping going on with Google than in Russia. That's all I'm saying. So keep your TDS and your fucking Putin syndrome and to yourself. I'm not in the mood for it anymore. I'm not entertained. I don't even find it funny anymore. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And okay, so it's a little longer than 10 pages. It's 28 pages, and the Reptilian Hunting Manual, published by the Total Resistance Press. Oh, that is a fucking suspect. Was published in 2010, and they even have a copyright logo next. Are you fucking kidding me? Who copyright this shit? Anyway, it's a joke when it comes to actual reptilian research, except for maybe a good pick of a Garuda. And mentioning the word Kinninigan, although I did a lot of deep diving, I cannot find anything that verifies that the Vikings actually used this word. So, whatever. It is what it is. It's not my research, not my book, but I will give you a link to it. Because when it comes to reptilians, I know every disinformation shield out there, and I've been dealing with this for a while. And I'm telling you right now, you can research anything under the sun: mermaids, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, UFOs, MK Ultra, even chemtrails. Once you go full reptilian, that's when you start to see changes, and you start seeing the gatekeeping and bots showing up, for example, and you know, it's amazing for a conspiracy that's supposed to be right out of the mind of crazy people like me. Why do they try so hard to cover it up? Yeah, ask yourself the real questions. So anyway, if you can support the channel, all the links are in the description. Um, I probably could call my weed dealer and get him to front me something till tomorrow, but I don't like getting weed fronted to me. This is not a guy you want to owe money to. Just saying. But he probably would. I don't want to have to do that. So if you could support the channel, I'd appreciate it. Um, and yeah, I think we need to stick to reptilians. Um, Look, I try to stay out of politics, but I'm not joking. Every day I open up my YouTube feed, it's full of fucking Freemason, mudslinging bullshit, and I'm getting a little sick of it. I blame that on Google, which is why I don't use your search engine anymore. Um, and that's where the term I'm using now, I didn't land on Babylon. Babylon landed on me. And I'm tired of seeing all your propagandist bullshit like Benny Johnson, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, the Young Turks, all these goat riding Masonic homos showing up in my YouTube feed. Just stop. Because it's kind of funny when I search reptilians on YouTube, I don't get a whole YouTube feed full of reptilian research. Interesting. Oh, but I do get David Icke now, and I see why he's come back to YouTube. Although he's not a threat. Like I said, I'm going to teach David Icke about reptilians, and that's the truth. Any questions or comments, leave them below. If you could support the channel, all the links are in the description. And yeah, if you want to support me, I'm giving you a link to the Reptilian Hunting Manual. Good hunting. Take care and God bless.